This is new for me. Um, Tuned in to the Urban Conservative. My name is Chaz Neal, activist based in Minneapolis, Minnesota. With me today, I have Jontel Tolan, my co-host, executive producer.
You already know what it is. How's everyone doing wherever you are in the world? Thank you for tuning in. Let's get it.
And we are being brought to you today by the Leon Block Independent Media. We are all about transparency, truth, and accountability. The Urban Conservative is all about the news on the streets, gun violence, crime, politics, and how we solve our community's most hardest issues. How can we change our communities for the better? Let's get back to family, community, foundational roots. Let's make sure nobody gets left behind. Set up and help.
Right.
Oh, it's been a crazy uh, last, I guess, few days. You
Right.
know, it's, it's been a roller coaster, honestly. Uh, and life moves at such a fast rate, fast speed. That, we don't always have time to even deal with our everyday life struggles, you know, uh, and still out here and fight the good fight. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Because it's tough, man. I literally, I don't like to talk a lot about myself, but sometimes we have to so that we can educate, so that people don't have to go through the same things that we're going through.
Right.
Because this is what this is about: reach one, teach one. Uh, you know what I'm
Yep.
saying? So I I want to educate people, and I hope that people learn from my mistakes, because I have made some along this journey, uh, and will continue to make mistakes, uh, because that's what we do. We make
Right.
mistakes, but we also have to learn from those mistakes. And I'm learning, but I want people to know what I'm going through. I shouldn't be going through, and there's a lot of people that shouldn't be going through it either. It's not just me. It's not a black problem, but it does happen to a lot of black men, uh,
Talk about
where the system likes to hold us down and to keep us chained down for whatever reasons, uh, that they want to, for whatever. I literally, uh, it's crazy to me, um, of the things that are going on in America.
it. We can pick
And
anyone. There's so much shit going on.
right, you know what I'm saying, and it's for you have all these situations going on with Jaheim McMillan, you have Eric Holmes, you have Rasheem Carter, and then I've just been digging in, and not only just those names, but you have so many more of youth that, and in Chicago primarily I'm talking about, because Chicago this year, uh, it's over 80 youth have
Wow.
been killed from gun violence. And I just look at even just with the mass shootings this year, when it comes to our kids, like the shit's getting out of hand. I don't even know what is I know that it's not on Nancy Pelosi's mind. I know that it's not on Joe Biden. I know that it's not on Omar, because right now they're all with Zelensky, listening to him. Uh, After we about to sign this $1.7 trillion omnibus bill, he gets a big chunk. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so it's almost the end of the year. Have we got any justice? Have we got any change? Because
You know,
go ahead.
let's take an assessment of the year 2022 real quick, because it Damn, it still didn't load. All right. So I'm going to show uh, a video of the different stories of police brutality cases that we have, just cases that we have only covered here on the Leon block alone. So this has nothing to do with all the cases out there, just the ones that we touched alone. Because I think that that's important. And just for some retrospection, real quick. Hold up.
Message.
Right.
Message.
Here we go. Names change, but we still ain't got no change. You feel me? And so in 2022, we covered Donovan Lewis, who was shot in his bed. Dejan Kazee, who was shot trying to ride a bike on the wrong side of the road. Quincy Pritchett was shot by a police officer in Lima, Ohio. And there really isn't much camera footage to show. And he's gotten away with it. Jalen Walker, we all know, was in Akron, body grated up like Swiss cheese. Patrick Loyola, that was Grand Rapids, Wisconsin, shot directly in the head, point blank range on the ground. Andrew Teckle, house situation, Jaheim McMillan, y'all already know, Amir Locke, Dante Perez-Jones, Jaden Prunty, Rasheem Carter, Eric Holmes, Jimmy Atchison, Dante Wright, Fred Cox, of course, and Eric Cantu. And these are just 15 of the stories that we've covered. And there's many more.
But how many of those I sit there and I think about it, beyond a few of those names, because it took a while for the officer was just charged in Jimmy Atchison's murder, which took too long.
Right.
I'm glad that it did happen, though. Kim Potter was convicted, but all those other names, who else has been charged?
You know, they leave a cookie crumb and expect us to be satisfied. That's what it is. They put out sacrifices. Those sacrifices are supposed to take it on the chin for everybody else in the force, right? And what I've been noticing is that officers of color are getting more reprimanding than the actual racist police officers that are actually doing the committing of crimes. These people are merely accomplices or just following out the culture that is given to them. I don't think any of these people really want to follow that culture, but they're few of many, you know? It's the ones that actually are doing the damage and the ones that take on these jobs to do these specific crimes for justification and a way to shield them. They're the ones that need the reprimanding. But are they the ones getting reprimanded, with the exception of Derek Chauvin? I don't see any.
Right. And then, you know what's crazy is because I sent you to this press release out of the District of Columbia. And I didn't honestly never heard of this story. But I'm glad that the officers were charged and convicted in the death of 20-year-old Karan Highlighton Brown. And that does make me know that there is a jury sitting in the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia returned guilty verdicts against 2 former members of the Metropolitan Police Department in connection with the fatal police pursuit on October 23rd, 2020 in northwestern Washington that caused the death of Karan Highlighton Brown, announced Matthew Graves, U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, Wayne A. Jacobs, Special Agent in Charge. Terrence Sutton, an officer, was found guilty of second-degree murder, conspiracy to obstruct, and obstruction of justice. Andrew Sabisky, a former lieutenant, was found guilty of conspiracy to obstruct and obstruction of justice. The trial was heard before the Honorable Paul Friedman in U.S. District for the District of Columbia. A sentencing date has not yet been scheduled. The jury found that Sutton caused Brown's death by driving a police vehicle in conscious disregard from extreme risk of death or serious bodily injury to Mr. Highlighton Brown. The jury further found that Sutton and Zabisky conspired and combined to hide from MPD officials the circumstances of the traffic crash leading to Mr. Brown's death. At the time of the police pursuit, Sutton was assigned to the crime suppression team in MPD's 4th Police District. Sabisky supervised the 4th Police District's crime suppression team officers, including Sutton. The pursuit began at approximately 10 p.m. on Friday, October 23rd, 2020, after officers observed Mr. Brown, 20, driving a moped on a sidewalk in the Brightwood Park area of Northwest Washington. The pursuit continued on the neighborhood streets for more than 10 blocks and into an alley off the 700 block of Kennedy Street Northwest. Immediately upon exiting the alley and entering Kennedy Street, Mr. Brown was struck by an oncoming civilian vehicle. He suffered severe head trauma and died on October 25th, 2020. Damn. The charge of second-degree murder carries a statutory maximum of 40 years in prison. It's good to know that there is some places out there that do the right thing.
For real.
I'm shocked I never heard of this.
Right.
And that it went so undercover like that. That's crazy.
And then you sent me this too. The Hennepin County Attorney's Office said no charges will be filed for the fatal police shooting of a man during a standoff at his Minneapolis apartment building in July, finding that the officers involved were justified. And this was Andrew Tickle. Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know what? Like, I think there's no one. I don't see any entity that's really checking this across the board and comparing the different municipalities across the country and how they're handling these cases, because the laws are different everywhere. But how are we going to combat this overall? And I don't think anybody's really asking these questions on a grand scale so that anything can be done on that note. You know?
Right.
It's frustrating.
And it is frustrating. But it's like, what do we even do anymore? You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, for one, right now they have us fighting for our lives, basically. So we're too busy just trying to survive. I feel like I can't help but feel like they want it that way, you know?
Right. No, of course they want it that way. They've always wanted it that way. That's how it's all of this is even started. Police used to be slave catchers.
Talk about
it. You know what I'm saying? So there ain't no different. We've gone. It's the same shit, just a different day. That's it. And just because it's 2022, don't mean that it ain't no different than 1910.
Right.
Or even before they even signed the Emancipation Proclamation. What does it really mean? Because we literally, we're not free. They lock us up for anything. These Negroes that think that they're, they ain't gonna do nothing to me. Yeah, until you see them lights behind you, and then you bitch up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's the shit that bugs me, because we in America, we don't look for black to look to see everybody equal, because if we see, that's black excellence, or, you know what I'm saying? But what they don't know is what that nigga did to get there.
Talk about it.
How many dicks he had to suck.
Talk about it.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the crazy part for me, because you have to literally, that's what I see. These people sell their souls. They sell their souls. It's because they know my main frame of it is, if you can't beat them, join them. That's what we see.
Yep. I want to be clear and let people know that it's okay to break the mold. It's okay to step outside of the boxes that you see and be different and think differently. Like, we all make choices in life, and which choices you make can determine a whole wealth of different things. You know what I'm saying? But I'm someone that personally uh really supports individuality as long as it is still a part of community and could come together and form unity. There's nothing wrong with being different, because people being different is what promotes more ideas and more things, more inventions, more connectivity. You know what I mean? Everyone should think for themselves. That's how we get better as a society. That's how we gain more knowledge as a society, if everyone's thinking for themselves. And what we got too much of is too many leaders, too many followers, and not enough leaders, not enough thinkers, free thinkers. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Everybody wants to follow. Talk
No,
about it, man.
that's what they do. I want to get into this out of Red Wing. I want to get back into Red Wing
Yeah,
for a little
yeah.
bit. So I'm gonna play this video. It's about 5 minutes long. I gotta see which one it is now. I think it's this. Okay, yep, this one.
Okay, good evening. My name is Ruth Hutchinson. I reside on Monquist Avenue. I would like to discuss how we as a city can identify those in our community who are in need
of special care, support, or protection due to age, limitation in abilities, or risk of abuse or neglect, etc. Last week, while visiting Maple Hills Apartments, I was very disturbed by what I saw with several events that unfolded. Um, there was a 10-year-old. Well, first of all, it started out as I entered the apartment building lot or the parking lot, and there was an outfit there called Integris Risk. What is it called? Integris Risk Professionals. Let me see if I got that name right. And I looked them up online, and they are pictured there at a gun range with carrying guns. And I know for a fact that the when you talk about safe and affordable housing, I don't know if that fits the bill of safe housing. Um, the tenants were not alerted that these people were going to be, I don't know what they're doing there. Um, and there are families, young families and children, young children there. Um, and um, I I spoke about this at the city council meeting, and I was just waiting to hear back from them. I see that Becky Norton had emailed me, but I hadn't had time to read that um, prior to this meeting. Okay, so then after that, there was a lot of traffic in the building where I was visiting, and there was a lot of arguing and yelling and screaming and in and out, in and out. And then the fire alarm went off, and it took the fire department a very long time to respond, in which I was told that the last time it happened, they were there very quickly. Um, and so after that happened, um, the police arrived, and a young 10-year-old boy was questioned, multiracial, without his mother being present. And um, I was really upset. I was outraged at first. And then as I was leaving, I had a chance to speak with the mother, and she said she had given her permission. But I think this mother is so overwhelmed, and I don't think we have the full story. And then when I got home, I was listening to the scanner, and the police were called yet again. And or there was talk on the scanner, and they were back at that apartment, and they were chasing this young 10-year-old through the building. Um, I just feel like we're not supporting the vulnerable. And I know there's a backstory because I did have a chance to speak to this mother. And that is just one of the many vulnerable we have in our community. And I was wondering if we could do a targeted survey um, to find out who our most vulnerable are. And so I had come up with some questions that I had reviewed with, I had gone over with Red Heart. And I can just go over, the few that I have here so far.
Ruth, you have 60 seconds.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I could just email them to you.
Well, you have time to read them. I'm just telling you, you have a minute.
Okay, so one of them is what prevents you from asking for help? And is it lack of transportation due to cost, lack of money to pay for scripts, or out-of-pocket expenses not covered by your insurance? Lack of multiracial therapists in the community because there aren't any. Have you or a member of your family been a victim of domestic abuse, sexual assault, emotional abuse? Has law enforcement or social services been called to your household? Are you afraid to speak to law enforcement? Has your neighborhood, is your neighborhood, okay, so is law enforcement or the fire department called routinely to your neighborhood? And if you are afraid to call law enforcement for help, why? Why are you afraid? And this would be confidential, so we can get, you know, some good answers here.
Okay, Ruth, I
And then,
think we have a good idea, and your time is up. So just wanted
okay,
to
okay.
appreciate you bringing this forward. I think it's very important. And could you just mention a little bit about how you would imagine targeting this survey and how it would be
Well,
anonymous?
okay, yeah, that I haven't figured out yet. I
Right.
had reached out to Beth Breeden. I had left a message for her. I haven't heard back from her. I had also contacted someone on the commission, one of the commissioners, who hasn't called me back. So I'm feeling kind of like left on the lurch here. I'm kind of looking for some input also.
Right,
Uh,
right. It's a big problem, and whenever you're collecting data, the whole issue becomes very, very complex. But it's a very important idea. Do you have any other suggestions?
I think it's a great idea, Ruth.
Okay, thank you.
So we'll kick it around. Thanks for bringing it up.
Yes, thank you for your time.
Very good. Is there anyone else who would like to make public comment today? Anyone else like to make public comment? Okay, so then we will move on to, well, here it is right here. Motions and general business. We have.
I would like to say something. I have my hand raised.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Your screen is really small, so I can't.
I apologize about that. First of all, I just want to say I think the concerns from Ruth is something that we need to be thinking about. This is something this is like a total definition of why this complaint process that has been getting swept under the rug for a few years now. So I think this is like a serious situation. And just to note, I'm the one she called. I didn't know the phone number that was called to my phone. So I just want to make that be known. So usually when I get a phone call from a number I don't know, I'm not going to answer. On that note, I want to go back to her concerns. This is where it comes in for the actions of this complaint process. Where is it? Thank you.
I think one of the, I appreciate that, Michael, and I think one of the possible.
Yeah. So they really tripped me out in Red Wing, Minnesota. But there's another from a community that I want to play uh, real fast.
Yeah.
So long, and that longevity has offered so much
Yeah,
to
whatever,
the
Terry
council and to
Cook.
the community.
No, you don't.
That
Stop
historic
lying.
background and information has carried us through many projects.
Where's the
And
news?
I just wanted to publicly say thank you. And that's part of the reason I'm here. But I do want to say that I fell in love with Red Wing 10 years ago. I have everyone, and I am
Okay,
especially
hold on.
excited about.
Yep.
Okay, now I got it. Stop. Present. Y'all know how we do here. They know how we do it. They don't like it. You don't love it. Play.
Hey, can you just start with your name and your ward number? Oh, my name is Fayette Foster, and I am presently homeless. And that's part of the reason I'm here. But I do want to say that I fell in love with Red Wing 10 years ago. I have a speech impairment due to a stroke that I had in the past. And so sometimes my speech and my processing, what I did was took a few minutes to get, two notes so that I won't stand before you too long. I came here 10 years ago and I did fall in love with the people here. And this was my escape. My mom was about 80, so I would get on the Amtrak and go back and forth and care for her. And after we got her settled for in hospice or whatever, this was my escape, and I loved it. But the wonderful thing in falling in love with you guys is I took a part of the community, and I started with Hope Coalition, and I lobbied I went to Capitol for domestic and for homelessness. I've I've done everything. I think her name is Miss Olson, had had tea with me and asked me to be a member, and because I have so many health challenges, I refused because I didn't want to commit and let my health be in the process. But in being here in 10 years, um, I would like to say that nobody is perfect, nobody. And I'm just going to say that um, when I first came here, I found 5 doctors that improved my quality of life. And I had saved up to go to Jamaica. I got my passport, but with my mom dying, and then my oldest son got married, and then he bought a house, and it's been one thing after another. So I haven't made it to Jamaica yet. But I decided to give back, and that's to the volunteers and being a part of the community. And so I've been here. During the 10 years, I've been a part of the Blandon Foundation, the leadership program. I've taken so many different, I've taken part of a lot here. A lot of people here, if they don't know me, they can recognize me. And so I'm going to read from here on out, okay? Because I'll talk all that stuff. Um, there was a night, my I was really happy. Nothing is perfect, but I am a woman who walks in faith.
And I believe things happen for a reason. And I know that I was brought to Redmond for a reason. And I think one of the things that is going through in my life right now is because somebody else has to see what I'm going through. And a night in September, um, my niece and I had traveled 12 hours across the states for 12 hours, and she was going through a mental crisis. And but I had gone in my room and came out, and the police was there, and I was blind. I didn't know what was going on, but I was arrested, and a domino effect take, took place after that. And another reason I want us to say this is the reason I brought it here is because this is the community, and sometimes we don't know what's going on in the community. And the only way you guys will know what's going on is because we have to tell you guys what's going on. So that's why I decided to come before you guys. At any rate, um, that night, my niece had called the police. I didn't know I was in my room, but as a result, I was arrested. All the charges have been dropped, and but a domino took effect, and so the place where I was living of 3 years decide to push me out because of the police call. And after 10 years, I've lost everything. My my savings has been depleted. I had to get storage and everything. And um, I don't. So many people said, "Well, why are you coming here?" And I said, "Well, the community needs to know what's going on." I was I was safe in the house in my own home, and because of lack of simple listening skills, here I am, 58 years old, and I have about 27 health challenges. And now, as of Wednesday morning, I will be have to check out of Parkway, and I can't even imagine. I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for Parkway, and I've never been in a motel like that before, and it has not been the best support for my back at all. I wanted to just say that I really do, truly do believe that what I'm going through, somebody has gone through something like this before. And I'm pretty sure it's going to go through something else like this. Or if we as a community can prepare for the officers to be a little more listening, how do we protect and serve people who have been in the community for 10 years that they never ever even asked one question? You know, I can't imagine that this day came and it's still happening. Thanksgiving was the worst, loneliest day of my life. My birthday was October 3rd, and it was the worst. My kids are all grown and they have their own lives, and I don't want to be a burden to anyone. You know, I have so many health challenges that sometimes I got all boys and they are on the road. He go and here and go. One of my kids, Demasio Foster, works here, and he's my youngest. And he was not happy about me pushing him out. You know what I mean? And he's not happy about me coming to visit because he's afraid I'm gonna bring a rag and some disinfect or whatever, you know. But at any rate, I told him I will never judge his place. But I am truly standing before you because I am in need. I'm in need of my housing. I had a Section 8 voucher, and the time lapsed due to so many things coming at me so often that I couldn't deal with everything in a timely fashion. And so I've lost my Section 8 voucher, and because of my processing situation and that. So I didn't read anything. I basically, it was just one act that caused a whole domino effect that caused me to be here.
Thank you, Faye, for sharing that story with me, with all of us, excuse me.
Thank you.
If
You know, it's things like, you know, thank you, Ruth, because I did watch, and I don't, Aaron DeSeuss, you know, I've talked about him before. And it's crazy because this is a Hispanic man that is going up there and say that he doesn't see racism. And when I seen that clip from the Human Rights Commission, I literally wanted to slap the shit out this man. And I'm not saying that politely at all, because when I sit there and I see that woman's story, that queen's story,
Right.
I was literally over here crying. If that doesn't, like, and her son works for the city, and it's like to see that in a room, because it's crazy, because I even sit there and I wonder myself, as somebody who knows all these important people, all these politicians, I literally know millionaires, but I'm homeless.
Right.
And I ain't never asked them for shit.
Right.
I ain't never asked them for shit, because that's not what I'm in this for. Our Choloways, right? There's so many, and that's what's crazy, bro. Like, what people don't really understand about, they think that racism is everywhere. And I'm talking about not just slap you in the face racism or call you a nigger racism. I'm talking about the systemic that stops you from being able to survive, being able to live your life. This lady, literally, because the police came to her house, she got evicted.
What?
Yes.
That's okay. So yeah, I did basically hear her say that, but you just put it so simply. Yeah. Yeah.
It's not because Red Wing has a new policy in place, and this is the thing that I talked about before it was even passed, that this was going to hurt people of color more.
Yep.
And that's what's crazy to me, because this is somebody, I literally got a resolution proclaiming racism a public health crisis passed in Red Wing, and then to see fuck shit like this, or to see what's going on at the school.
I can't help but feel like it's retaliation in some way on that level.
I think, honestly, for me, I knew this was going to happen.
Right.
There's certain things that were put in place that they haven't even touched yet. And it pisses me off, because they sit there and they went through this advisory board that hasn't, and you know what? And I don't want nobody to feel disrespected when I say this. It hasn't done shit. It's been a token. It was to give us to say that they did something for us, right? That they did something for us, but they haven't.
Donald Trump said, "Stand back and stand by." Biden was like, "Shut up and sit down."
Right, right, right. Because you really got to think about it. You really got to.
You ain't black if you don't vote for me. Just saying, they all crooks.
No, they are.
Right. Exactly.
Pure tokenism. And I'm gonna continue this conversation. Everybody gonna be snowed in tomorrow, or at least in Minnesota, anyways. But I do want to continue this conversation. And honestly, I would love to bring Ruth on here.
Yeah.
At some point. This is a woman that I've gotten to know over the last couple of years, and has been a vocal voice, a strong voice, right? I feel you, Mike. My thing of it is about the HRC. It's and I still stand to this. I think that HRC will never be allowed to really do what it was intended to do because of white liberals. I'll say it, because of the Becky Norton, because of the Terry Cooks, because of the Siri Everetts. And I know you don't know none of these people, John Till, but these are all people.
But I have my own versions of them here.
Right. And they sit there and they say that they stand for us, but they really, because they stop progress.
It's symbolic.
It's not even symbolic anymore. I even hate that word, because it ain't. It's to them it might be symbolic, but to me it's just because you can raise a black fist doesn't mean that that fist is about black power. You know what I'm saying? Because I sat here and I had to think about something, because I have a lot of history in Red Wing, and I've literally sat on stage with the chief of police in Red Wing, Minnesota, the ex-chief of police, Roger Pullman. And this man literally called me, he would consider me a friend, a good friend. You know what I'm saying? And this is his wife. I went through a lot, you know what I'm saying? Was Pullman a good person, a good man? Yes. He was a shitty officer. Shitty officer. No kind of community engagement. But I will say this, of that, he was trying to take cops out there who were dirtier than him out of the force. I will say that. And them people are still down in the force in Red Wing. So
I done told you it's the Wild West out there, y'all.
It's so much deeper than that, because you literally their city council, Evan Brown, has offered me money. There was a whole police report done. And they found that he probably shouldn't have done that, but it wasn't illegal. So not bribing. So because what they offered me was, there was a space above Red Wing Ignite, which is a building next to City Hall, and there was an upstairs, which I didn't know about it. But they were I had a mutual aid group called Red Wing Area Mutual Aid. Well, they offered me that space if I would get off of Facebook, if I wouldn't say certain things anymore. That's how they were doing me.
Right.
Yeah, that's how they were doing me. That's literally how they were doing me. And it was crazy to me, because I didn't understand it at the time, because honestly, I didn't take the money because of the simple fact or the deal, because I couldn't take everybody with me.
Right.
I couldn't take everybody with me. And I wasn't going to take money to shut up when I knew there was more issues going on. If we weren't going to have transparency and accountability, that money's not going to do shit for my community.
Talk about it.
I'm not going to take your blood money, because there's been the Pruitt family that Red Wing Public Schools paid out. There's been Shaquita Hurd. There's been so many other people. And I'm not going to sit there and because it makes dollars doesn't mean that it makes sense to me. just because it does to these politicians, it doesn't to me. And that's why I sit there, I go at these people on their because it's going to be, I want people to know Red Wing is about to be a roller coaster. It's about to be a ride. Your whole everything has changed out there with the Republicans. They literally took over your school board. And honestly, they don't do nothing now. Holly Tower, she don't do nothing. Nikki Buck don't do nothing. Yeah, that's Maple House. That's if Ruth show that other one that I put up there, I want to see if that's the security group she was talking about.
Yep.
That risk. So Ruth, if you're still on here, is that it right there? Because they're based in Minneapolis. Yep, that's it. God damn, that's crazy. So
Risk management.
Yeah,
Did
I
you
wonder
ever
about
wonder-
affordable
this is-
housing. So why does affordable housing have security like that? That doesn't make sense to me.
This is very scary.
That's crazy to me. So that's just like CRG. Wow, that's insane. And they were wow, that's crazy. Corporate train. What the fuck? What's really going on in Maple Hills that they need private security?
Private clients is the one that freaks me out the most.
Right. They are not tied to HRA. Are they tied to Common Bond? Because that's who owns Maple Hills is Common Bond. Yeah, I don't know, but that looks pretty expensive. So Common Bond's paying for it. Why though? Is it so? I wonder if it's drugs or if there's something else going on there. Because why do you have so Red Wing is a town of like 16,000 people. Why would you have private security? That just doesn't make no sense to me. That's insane to me, actually.
Yeah, I'm saying this. Like I said, this is scary. Like, really.
I wonder if the new wacko. Well, he ain't new, but Stu Peters has anything to do with this, or even Richard Leonard. That's what's what's crazy to me, because that area is a big 3%er. Because the FBI came in there and did a whole sweep in like 2018, 2017. There was made to administration. Oh wow, what crazy. Administration, the rumor. Nah, I'd be checking into that. What's good for the goose ain't good for the gander.
Through years of combined military special operations experience, Integris Risk Solutions can minimize the threats in your life with proper strategy. So this reminds me of those mercenaries that go to the Middle East and kill on behalf of the United States, and we can, use plausible deniability. It's these mercenaries that are causing the most mayhem and atrocities, to be honest.
That's crazy.
Honestly, I'm afraid of the things that will come out of this, and isolated incidents that may not actually technically get reported as what they should be getting reported.
Right. That's okay, Red Wing. Chaz Neal's here. I ain't going nowhere. Y'all you guys are gonna be all right. I ain't going nowhere. But yeah, I'm really gonna dig into this because that's weird.
Yeah.
And I hate dealing with these type of people too. They just think they so tough. I remember dealing with the dude in Uptown for CRG. He runs a group like this, and you know,
I think
you know, it's crazy though. I would
it's the
love,
same kind of
I would
person.
love to see a fight though, because you know what's crazy. You see all of these wannabe so-called activists talking about they so rowdy. I would love to see like hands only and like a Royal Rumble
Right.
and the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers and whoever BLM, whatever nigga thinks they just get in there and get in and let's really see.
Yeah,
Because I think a lot of these dudes is track stars.
bro. It
They
would
gonna
be
be-
cool to see that though.
They're gonna be ducking and swerving. They're gonna be just like the police. They ain't gonna protect and serve. They gonna duck and swerve. That's damn big guns.
Mhm.
Damn, that's quite the
Oh,
trailer video.
it's dangerous. We have
That's
assassins.
crazy.
They're real life assassins, if you ask me.
So how does a place for affordable housing afford that? That's crazy.
Oh, yeah. Good question. So this is for this place, right?
Yeah,
Wow.
that's crazy. Yeah, affordable housing with services.
Hmm.
What's crazy is that we have actually with Red Wing Area Mutual Aid, we have a pantry there. You know, shout out to and I want to say this because I do love Red Wing and I give credit when credit is due. I want to give it up to Michael Holmes and Rude Boy. Did an event over the weekend with bringing and I just hate the people that are behind it. Honestly, I hope Celeste does great things in Red Wing because Red Wing does need what services she does have. But he's been out there for a while, and I just had to give it up because he does have very good cooking skills. He does have very good rubs. Yeah, I don't know. And who are their targets, right?
Now you got me hungry.
Right. Now he can get down in the kitchen.
Let me
He
find
can
out.
definitely get down. That's that red boy.
Yeah.
But nah, bless up, Mike. You know, but I am gonna come back to Red Wing. And I'm not talking about in person because you know you got to be on the low level right now.
Mhm. Yes, Ruth and Matt. I mean, we're answering our own questions, but we also it's important. Like it is important when you're theorizing to come up with the answers and the questions.
Right.
But who are the targets? We know who the targets are. Now we have to prove how that's the case.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because that place is predominantly minority.
Oh.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna get up out of here. We're gonna come back. So we're gonna come back to Red Wing. Hopefully, maybe I'll have some guests from Red Wing. I know we've had Stacy on here. I think we've had anybody else from Red Wing. Yeah. But until next time, meditate through the pain, celebrate the ties that bond, liberate our people, and educate our youth so we can stop the bloodshed. Be the change. Win or fail, freedom or jail, heaven or hell, wish me well. And I gotta play the ending video. I don't know why I didn't even think of that.
You got this, brother.
I forgot. I know, but you should. Okay, so I don't know which one the outro is.
I got you. Nah, same thing.
Oh, is it? When I fail, freedom or jail, heaven or hell, wish me well.